Good morning. Typical, isn't it? Just as I start talking, a very rare these days car goes by. The gate's squeaking, driving me batty. Isn't it remarkable that we had so much rain in January and February that we all felt like we were going to need to build an ark? And now the weather is so gloriously warm and sunny, but the garden is very dry. I'm going to have to start watering it or things will die. I can't believe it. But it's nice that I've got my washing line up. I take it down during the winter, but it needs a wipe now. Boring job. Look at that sparkling washing line. And there's my washing waiting to go up, but I'm just having a cup of tea and I'm surrounded by dogs. There's my cup of tea, and there is my fancy pants peg bag that I made years ago. It's basically a over-the-shoulder kind of messenger bag, and the recycling lorry's gone by and the dogs are going bananas. Because I find that if you've got a peg bag hanging up or sitting on the floor, it's never where you want it to be, but if you've got it on your hip, you've got pegs at your fingertips. And I'm going to do a little bit of my Nordic winter mittens while I sit here and drink my cup of tea before pegging out. I thought I would also continue with the questions and answers. So the Valerie D. Millier questions section. I read all the questions out in one go yesterday from Valerie, but I only managed to answer one because I talk quite a lot. Okay, so what do I look for in a friend? I've never really thought about this. No, I'm not explaining. No. Start again. What do I look for in a friend? I am finding this question impossible to answer. Just all the usual stuff. You know, I just want kindness, support, loyalty, fun. This is so hard for me to answer. I've never really analysed it. I just know when I meet somebody and become friends with them that generally that is it for life. There are very, very, very few people who I've become friends with in my life and I've then sort of lost touch with. Very few people. I mean, work colleagues, they come and go, don't they? Because they're kind of circumstantial friends, but I mean, obviously I've got some work colleagues that become your best friends. Franca, for a start, I worked for her, she was my boss. My friend Leonie and Super Sal, I met them through work. It's very rare that I fall out with a friend. It's happened 4 times in my entire life, and 3 of them still get in touch now and again, but I am forgiving, and I do forget, but there's generally no going back for me, because once my heart's been broken, I'm not very good at kind of trusting again. You know, wish them well, but bye-bye. I know that sounds harsh, but it's a protect myself type thing. Yeah, I love my friends, and a lot of my friends, it's never been a choice to be their friend. It's just written in the stars. I sound like an idiot. I know what I mean. I'm just not very good at being articulate about it. Margs, there's a lot more cars going by today than there has been the last few days. Okay, next question. How do I handle conflict with a friend or neighbour? Again, this has very, very rarely ever happened. Conflict with a neighbour, I tend to bend over backwards to try and resolve it. And often that's compromising myself and my family, and not really fair, because sometimes I'm thinking of this one neighbour, because it's only happened with one neighbour. It wasn't fair. It was unreasonable on their part, and I kind of fed into that by capitulating. But it slowly but surely escalated and got worse, and their demands became unreasonable. And then one day, after a whole host of things going on spread out over a few years, they came around, and I just lost my temper. So how do I handle conflict with, say, a friend or a neighbour? Really badly, quite honestly, really badly. And it affects me for a really, really long time. And I think that is because I have such little experience with it. I've just been fortunate enough to move through my life falling out with very few people and having conflict with very few people. So I don't deal with it very well. I was never in a job where that was part of the job either. I know, say if you work in customer relations, customer services, HR, a job like that, then you're dealing with that kind of thing on a certain level all the time. But I've only ever had wishy-washy, flippy-floppy, happy jobs, you know. I've been in the service industry and in sales, essentially. How many countries have I visited? I've never counted. I'm not that well travelled, really. I didn't travel during a gap year at all. When I was cabin crew for Virgin Atlantic many moons ago, I hung up my pinny in 2001. We used to go to America, Hong Kong, Japan, South Africa. They've got so many different routes now that I didn't do. I'm trying to think where else, countries wise, that I went. Randomly went to Athens once. I think that was on the plane went tech for Virgin Holidays, so we stepped in. Can't really remember. Yeah, that's it for countries I've visited with Virgin. Obviously just on general holidays, I've done parts of Spain, Portugal, France. Never been to Germany. I've never been to Italy, Never been to any of the Baltic countries. Do you know, I'm just really not very well travelled. I'm a bit of a scaredy cat, if I'm honest. I would like to travel the Silk Road, but I don't think Toby would want to do that. And I know my mum and my friend Sass would love to do it. We could all three of us go together, but for some reason I feel like it's the sort of thing where I would want to have a man with me. I think it's just because whilst being an air hostess and travelling about and mooching around these different countries on my own, I never got into any terrible scrapes, but I would get quite a bit of unwanted attention. I think just because I was young and had blonde hair. But yeah, it just makes me a little bit nervous, which is probably silly because I'm missing out. Where in the US have you been to? Used to go to New York a lot. Washington, Los Angeles, San Francisco, Orlando, Boston. Where else did we fly to? Miami. I think that's it. The Caribbean as well, we used to go there. I know it's not the same as America, but it's that direction. How do I feel about Harry and Meghan going to Canada? I haven't really got an opinion because I haven't read up on all the actual facts. I think there's a lot of tosh in the tabloids. I haven't spoken to Harry and Meghan for quite a few weeks now, so I haven't got their side of the story. Okay, that will do for today. I'm boring myself with my droning voice. It just sounds so melancholy. And I'm doing that thing where I talk in my throat, which I hate. I really hate that. I can't listen to people who kind of talk into their throats, like they talk like this and then they go like that. I can't. And I'm doing it myself. I did it just then. Man, I'm annoying. I'm going to have to put these on hold again because I need a 3mm needle really for gauge and I don't have one. Never mind, I've got other things to be getting on with. I think this plant's called a ribes or something. Bees love it. I think it's a false rhubarb, something like that. Ribes, I don't know. But it's alive with bees. Bees and honeybees and solitary bees. Can you hear them? See if I can find one to show you really. Oh, look at him. He's so beautiful. I think I've filmed him a couple of times. He's very compliant. Look at that one. Look, can you see the pollen sac on the back of the legs there? That was amazing. Right, let's have a look. It's just they're so loud. It's hard to work out where they are. Oh, look, there's another one. Oh, another couple there. And the lily of the valley is on its way up, which means my birthday is soon. It's in 4.5 weeks, but I'm going to postpone it. It's been a funny day today. I woke up, I just felt so content and calm and relaxed and happy, and then as the day's gone on, I think I've just needed a self-soothing day, and I haven't had one. I've just been a bit aimless. I've done a bit of gardening, a bit of washing, a bit of ironing, a bit of cleaning, a bit of tidying, a bit of cooking, but just nothing. I don't know. I guess we're all having these days now and again, aren't we? It's just weird having no forecasted end in sight. And it's not that I'm not content. I'm quite alright in this sort of new life kind of thing. I'm just pootling along. I think my temperament and my lifestyle suit this isolation, especially now homeschooling's over and done with for a fortnight, because that was not fun. Not looking forward to starting that again, but the rest of it is fine. But I do appreciate, I'm really lucky to live in this part of the world, because it is just lovely. Little motorbike going by, but it is just lovely.